Space, the final frontier, and the birthplace of the galaxy's most brutal warrior race, the Saiyans. In the original timeline, a low-class Saiyan infant named Kakarot was sent to a distant, primitive planet called Earth, landing in the isolated mountains of the Far East. But destiny is a fragile thing. A slight calculation error in the pod's navigation coordinates alters his trajectory entirely. Instead of landing in Mount Paozu, the spherical spacecraft tears through the atmosphere of the ancient Near East, crashing into the rocky wilderness of the Kingdom of Israel during the Golden Age of King David. The crash is witnessed by Eli, a humble, God-fearing shepherd tending his flocks in the night. Expecting a sign of judgment or a fallen star, Eli approaches the smoking crater with trembling steps. Inside, he doesn't find a weapon of destruction, but a laughing, energetic infant. Eli notices the strange, animalistic tail, but his heart is filled with compassion. Deciding that this child is a gift from the heavens, he wraps him in his mantle and names him Eliakim, meaning God establishes. Unlike the original timeline, there is no accidental fall down a ravine to break the child's violent Saiyan programming. Instead, it is the sheer, overwhelming peace of the pastoral life, combined with Eli's gentle, righteous upbringing, that tames the wild spirit of the young Saiyan. As the years pass, Eliakim grows with terrifying speed. His appetite is legendary, consuming entire sheep in a single sitting, to the bewilderment of his small village. But his strength is undeniable. By the age of 7, he can uproot ancient olive trees with his bare hands and sprint faster than the swiftest gazelles of the Negev. Eli teaches the boy the laws of the land, humility, and the value of protecting the weak. To the small village, the boy is a miracle. But a dark shadow looms over his existence. On a clear night during the season of the harvest, the full moon rises over Judea. Eliakim looks up, and his Saiyan biology takes over. In a matter of seconds, the innocent boy transforms into a towering, destructive great ape, a creature of pure malice and unstoppable power. The local villagers wake up to a nightmare. Houses are crushed, and the mountains echo with the roars of a beast straight out of ancient lore. Eli, refusing to abandon his son, steps into the path of the giant beast. Calling out to the boy's spirit, he manages to briefly break through the Saiyan rage. The great beast hesitates, paralyzed by the voice of love. But the strain is too much. In the confusion, a tragic accident occurs, and Eli is mortally wounded. As the morning sun rises, the transformation reverses. Eliakim wakes up to find his father fading away. With his last breath, Eli tells the boy never to look at the moon again, and to use his immense power only to defend the righteous and the kingdom. Left alone in the world, the young Saiyan buries his father, fastens his shepherd's staff to his back, and sets out into the heart of Israel. 10 years pass. Eliakim, now a young man, has spent his time wandering the wilderness, training his body in absolute isolation. He has learned to control his energy, inadvertently unlocking the basics of energy control through deep, meditative isolation in the desert caves. He arrives in the capital city of Jerusalem during a time of immense political tension. The Kingdom of Israel is constantly beset by powerful rival nations and empires looking to crush the sovereign state. When a massive invading army marches upon the borders, their commander puts forth a challenge of single combat to decide the fate of the city. Their champion is a giant of a man, an undefeated warrior whose name strikes fear into the hearts of hardened soldiers. Seeing the fear in his people's eyes and remembering his father's final words, Eliakim steps out from the crowds. He wears no armor, carries no sword, and possesses a carefree smile that infuriates the giant. The giant swings a massive iron broadsword down with incredible force, but Eliakim catches the blade with just 2 fingers. The blade shatters into 1,000,000 pieces, leaving the crowd in absolute shock. With a simple, light palm strike to the giant's chest, Eliakim sends him flying across the valley, crashing into a distant hillside miles away. The foreign army watches in absolute horror. With a single strike, the young shepherd has defeated an empire's greatest weapon without spilling a drop of blood. Word of the miracle of the valley reaches the royal court. King David recognizes that this boy is no ordinary mortal. He is brought before the throne, not as a political advisor, but as the official guardian of the kingdom. Yet Eliakim wants no crowns, no gold, and no titles. He only asks for a steady supply of food and a place to train. But peace under a Saiyan's protection draws global attention. The surrounding massive empires, realizing that a single warrior is making Israel invincible, form an unprecedented coalition. Tens of thousands of troops, chariots, and siege engines march toward Jerusalem, determined to erase the kingdom from history. The armies of Israel are vastly outnumbered. As the coalition forces surround the mountains, the situation looks entirely hopeless. Standing on the crest of the hills, Eliakim looks down at the invading forces. He feels no hatred, only a burning desire to protect his home and test the absolute limits of his power. Cupping his hands at his side, he channels the raw, spiritual energy of the earth and his own Saiyan life force. The air grows hot. The ground begins to shake, loose pebbles levitating into the air. Eliakim thrusts his hands forward. A massive, blinding beam of blue energy sweeps across the empty plains in front of the invading army, vaporizing a massive trench into the earth and stopping just short of the soldiers, creating a giant wall of dust and smoke that blocks the sun. The blast splits the very earth in two, creating a massive, smoking canyon that separates the invading coalition from the borders of Israel. The sheer display of power, a mortal wielding the light of the heavens, breaks the will of the invaders instantly. Weapons are dropped, chariots turn back in panic, and the grand coalition dissolves in a matter of minutes without a single casualty. From that day forward, the kingdom of Israel enters an era of unparalleled peace and prosperity. The story of Eliakim, the wild boy from the stars with the tail of a beast and the power of a tempest, is written into the scrolls of history, passed down from generation to generation as a legendary protector sent by the heavens. But as Eliakim sits atop the highest peaks of Judea, looking up into the night sky, he looks past the moon toward the deep cosmos. He can feel it in his blood. There are stronger opponents out there in the stars, and sooner or later, they will come looking for him.